Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for every UFC event, with your hosts, TB Scouting MMA and
the Guru back again. This time in sleepy Seattle. We're heading to Seattle, Washington for a bantamweight main event between Triple C, Henry Cejudo, taking on the Kung Fu Kid himself, Song Yadong. Should be an incredible matchup. We've got a bunch of other great matchups on this card after this card seemed freaking cursed, right? I mean, how many fights? 7 fights fell through, but they were how many fights we got total? 12, 11?
Yeah, we got them stacked up
11
now.
or 12 fights. They made sure it was a full
12.
card. 12 fights. Listen, that's why we had to bring in our guy, an MMA betting analysis expert. He's up 336 units all time, 14% ROI, guys. That's real money. McPicks. What's going on, man? We just missed that parlay last week. Your goes the distance parlay. I liked every leg, so I followed you.
Oh man, yeah, that was a tough one. But as always, you know, it was a bad beat, but you look forward, we move on. It's my sophomore outing on the Chronic Combat Conversations podcast. So yeah, happy to be here and excited to break down some fights with the boys.
Let's go.
With the boys. You know what? You know what else we're doing with the boys? Cracking some brews.
Uh-oh. I'll get a little something.
Dude, if you want to go get one, go grab one.
Uh-oh.
I might have to. I have a water.
Dude, go do it.
I'm gonna feel left out.
Go do it.
In the meantime, you people joining us here now, if you haven't been paying attention, Chronic Combat, not so quietly, 5 for 5 on profitable events to start the year, up 25 units so far in 25. I mean, I couldn't have thought of a better way to kick off the year. We have a goal. We're breaking 100 units in 25. It's not a question. We're doing it, okay? So we're a quarter of the way there. There's no stopping now. We got to stay hot on the trail. If you guys haven't done the right thing, I'm not gonna lie, I'm judging you. But
little bit.
Yeah, it's not too late to fix and right your wrongs. You can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Costs you absolutely nothing. We're live every Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern. We're bringing you the hot hits. We're never late. We never start late. Don't check the clock right now. But here we are, man. We're here to have a great time. Always bringing you the hard-hitting analysis for free. If you're following us out there on the Twitterverse, you know, the artist formerly known as Twitter, should I say, on X, and then pick it. You'll be getting our plays right as we play them. We're trying to let you know there's some live movement going on in this world. So if we're touching it before the podcast, you can follow us out on the socials. We'll let you know. If you're the kindest person out there, you leave a donation. I mean, we're not going to, beg for anything, but listen, it never hurts to share with your friends, but it's not required. So shout out to some of the awesome people here tonight. Lou Betcha, we do have a great guest. Appreciate you. Go be American like Hulk. Watch that hockey game. Yeah, I appreciate that. We don't all want to be like that. What up, Mike? Appreciate you, man. Sorry I haven't been balling, but got to get back there, brother. Good to see you. Thanks for checking in. I know you've been following our picks. That Volkov one hit like crazy at plus 200 that time. We appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for tuning in. Without further ado, we know what you people came here for. It's the Triple C podcast. We got Triple C, Henry Cejudo, in the main event. Plus 220 versus the Kung Fu Kid, Song Yadong, minus 270. And I think to myself, I'm like, well, why Seattle, right? Like, why are we here? I mean, not to be that guy, there's a very large Asian population in the Washington, Seattle region. Why not promote your boy Song Yadong with an aging veteran like Henry Cejudo? And boy, oh boy, do the odds reflect it. Like I said, plus 220, but the over 4.5 at minus 210. So here I am. I'm considering, can Cejudo get the wrestling going? Can he pull a Corey Sandhagen? Can he do any of these things where he gets an extended top control? Pyotr Yan wearing into what Yadong's got going on. But I don't know, man. The size differential, the long layoffs, the fact that Cejudo hasn't won a fight technically on the scorecards or in general. And I don't know. You tell me how long. I can't even remember right now. But ultimately, it just comes down to I'm not pulling the trigger on the minus 270. Something is telling me not to do it. I'm also not pulling the trigger on the fight goes the distance. Guru, I know that this doesn't mean anything, but damn it, we're watching the Seattle Seahawks, and they're like, hey, let's do this reaction drill. and Henry Cejudo, the flyweight, gets the worst score out of anybody on a reaction time drill, I'm like, oh, God damn it.
The
He's cooked, man.
flyweight or the bantamweight? What do you mean?
Well, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. He's small, and he has the worst reaction time out of anybody. Guess what? With age goes your reactions, and with loss of reactions could go your chin. I'm scared. I'm terrified. What if Song Yadong can actually finish him here? So I don't want to parlay. I really don't. And I don't want to take the fight goes the distance, which I was really tempted to in this spot here. So I think I'm going to pass. But if I was to recommend one thing to the people for a little half unit play, it's going to be Song Yadong inside the distance. I just have no conviction,
Wow.
and you probably won't find it on my Bet MMA. I'm just like, it's the main event. I'm trying to give you something here, but I don't really have great conviction on this fight. Guru, what about
So
you? Give us more direction.
I felt a little bit differently. I decided to sit on it, dude. I just laid just now 3 units to win 2 on the fight going the distance at minus 155. I feel that Henry Cejudo is a fucking dog. I feel that he's absolutely going to grind it out. I feel that in the lower weight classes, the flyweights, the bantamweights, I always, you have to kind of look at the matchups, of course, but I tend to lean in the overs in the lighter weight classes. And, you look at their record, right? So Song Yadong gets the doctor stoppage against Corey Sandhagen. That's between rounds 4 and 5. He knocks out Ricky Simone in round 5. He goes the distance for 5 rounds with Chris Gutierrez in a fight that he probably, if he steps on the gas, he probably could finish the guy. Generally speaking, he was getting decisions with the likes of Casey Kenny, Kyler Phillips, Cheetah Vera, and so on, and so Vince Morales, so on and so forth. Then you look at a guy in Henry Cejudo, just went to decision in his last 2 fights, went 5 rounds with Aljamain Sterling, 1 round 5, finishes Marlon Moraes late round 3. Yeah. I mean, other than it's kind of funny when you look at his career, he finishes guys in Dominic Cruz and TJ Dillashaw who were notorious for their durability. I think it's, you kind of catch him at the right time. TJ Dillashaw looked literally emaciated. It was hilarious. But yeah, and Dominic Cruz is old. So I really do feel comfortable with the fight going the distance here. I don't think Song Yadong pushes a crazy pace. And if I think there's a finish, I think it's something, I don't want to say fluky, but I think he catches somebody catches somebody with something crazy. Otherwise, I think it's a fairly competitive sparring match, so to speak. So minus 155 on Bet365 was by far the best price. Otherwise, market wide, you're looking at minus 160, minus 165. So I took a chance.
Hey, and you're allowed to do that. I appreciate that. Shout out Aussie Fight Fan. What's going on? Appreciate you joining the show. Daz, let's get it, baby. James,
because
we'll touch on this in a second. Let's let McPix get his pick on.
But before he does, I do want to just say, the best lineup, Song Yadong by finish at plus 175, that just doesn't interest me.
That price is not as good as I thought it would be.
Right. Plus, actually, I see. Knockout itself is plus 210. Doesn't really do it for me.
I really don't love it. I'm telling you, I'm thinking about passing. If anything, it would be your play. I just hated that I have to lay juice on it, but I hear you. McPix?
I agree. I'm going to have to agree with the Guru on this one. I was staring at the over 4.5 rounds earlier in the week. Limits were shit, but it was minus 145. I'm like, it's not a bad look. And then the under got hit a little bit. They want to back up. But yeah, I mean, both these guys are super tough. Henry Cejudo, he's been finished, I think, one time, and that was a knee from Demetrius Johnson. Besides that, I mean, the guy is always competitive for the most part. I mean, he just fought a couple years ago, the champ at 135, Aljo, went to a really close decision. I mean, the guy is super skilled, never typically gets completely outworked outside of, I guess you could say Marab, but still, I mean, he won the first round in that one.
Right.
And but what's concerning is clear, like you guys said, he's 38 years old now. I mean, we know, especially at these lower weight classes, as these guys get older, they tend to lose that pop, that speed, that athleticism. So, so Song Yadong is a lot younger. He's got power, but I think the play to make would be either a Cejudo point spread. I know DraftKings does that. Maybe a plus 3.5 or a plus 5.5, something like that. Or like Guru said, the fight that goes the distance. I think this one goes all the way.
Can I
But,
ask you? Can I ask you? Is it possible here that last week it was the 40-year-old, quote unquote, past his prime, hadn't won in a little bit. Could it be this week the 38-year-old, quote unquote, past his prime, the underdog, pulling it off in the main event again?
it could happen, but I mean, that was at 185, right? We know
True.
as you get a little heavier, I mean, it's like, middleweight, light heavyweight, those guys can last a little longer.
Very true.
But then again, I mean, Cejudo, he didn't look terrible. He didn't look terrible against Merab. He slowed down, but I mean, who doesn't against Merab? Look what he just did against Nurmagomedov. So,
And who wrestles Henry? When does Henry defensively wrestle?
against Aljo, he did, right? A little bit.
And that's when he lost. He didn't look great in those exchanges.
Right.
And then he gets dominated round 2 and 3 by Merab in the defensive wrestling.
And the thing is, too, I mean, it was against Piotr Jan, but Yadong was taken down a couple times and held down. He lost a couple of those rounds later, round 2, round 3, because of the takedown. Jan got him down and kind of sealed the round. So, I mean, Cejudo is a stud wrestler, but, he's 38 years old. So, I think it's going to be close. I could see like a 48-47 in favor of Yadong. But again, I mean, personally, I wouldn't lay the minus 270. I think it should be like minus, 180. Minus 175 in the favor of Yadong. So
yeah, we have a rule on the show that if you don't think that the fighter can get a finish, you can't play north of minus 200.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Damn straight.
That makes sense to me.
James, shout out to you. I know you probably were on the Wei Lee side. I hate myself for not being on the Zhang Wei Lee side.
My fault.
So honestly, I was happy to see her win and that she's still a dominant force. I was so sad the week prior to watch Israel Adesanya go down in flames that, no, I was happy to kind of hedge my emotions, and maybe it was like Toddy by surprise, but hey, it wasn't. So, I've learned to kind of separate my rooting interest from my betting, and I don't know, sometimes I go against those biases. So maybe I got to do a better job sometimes. And
Mick picks, does the USA win? What do we think? You just a regular gambler too?
What are we talking about, hockey?
Yeah, about right now. They're about to start.
Oh, I mean, got to go Team USA.
I know, right? It feels
Canada. It's USA, Canada, right?
Yeah, for all the marbles.
All the marbles? Okay. I mean, you got to go USA, but Canada's
not even
always
some of the marbles, all of them.
Every single one.
Yeah,
you got to bet on that?
I was kind of thinking of like I love the USA and I want to. It's like I actually didn't even look. I think it was Pick'em.
Wow.
It's like dangerously close to pick 'em. Maybe we were slightly favored. We just beat them 2 games ago, which makes me think that we're not going to win this one.
Yeah, it's hard to get them 2 in a row, especially when
minus 120, minus 110.
Wow.
It's going to be a close game. And I think it goes under, too, because I think it's going to be a tough one. But what the fuck do I know?
Can't bet the under, though. I mean, I hate betting unders in anything but MMA. It's different, right? You bet the under, you want violence. Everything else, like football, hockey, you want like little action, Such a shitty bet in other sports.
It's true. That's fun.
Oh, yeah. The last point, Daz talking about the interviews I watched today. Henry, has his daughter up there with him. He looks mad distracted. Brought her up there and was like, she was going to cry if I didn't take her up here with me. She hasn't seen me a lot. It's like, all right, actually, I got to give her back to my wife. Like, I don't know.
Oh, he's too dad mode, not focused.
Yeah, no, not ideal. This is like Benny Dariush vibes. So I'm scared. He's
got his own podcast too, right? I mean, he's got a lot of things going outside the UFC, so he doesn't need this. So yeah, where's his motivation in this? But I think that he's
one last ride.
Yeah, we'll see. But
so funny.
All right, Brendan, all in Allen plus 270. Also, he's blonde Brendan this week. That's a cute little Kill Cliff MMA thing because Derek Brunson back in the day, when he was on a slide, he turned into blonde Brunson. Now we're seeing blonde Brendan. So I'm curious what type of tidings those bring. But he's here at plus 270 in a rematch. This time 3 rounds against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Minus 340. Yeah, I mean, listen, Allen has a little bit of success early, but the fluffy wave comes and takes over. And that's what I expect again. And this time, I think we might get a knockout. Brendan Allen, Chris Curtis isn't necessarily the most put the pressure on front foot. He's a little older guy at that point, but Sean Strickland, forward pressure, able to land and put the pace on, gets Brendan out of there. Chris Curtis, the first time they fight, he's able to kind of put on the pressure, force a stand-up fight. If Fluffy doesn't let Brendan get this down, I know Brendan's got improved striking overall. Like, I mean, Fluffy's overall type of game plan, the way he comes in aggressive with the boxing, like, if we were going to see an issue with a body kick, like it was going to come last fight from Michelle, and we almost saw it happen early. But I mean,
Or
Fluffy,
Kopylov.
same thing
It
with
would have been an issue
Kopylov
with
too.
Kopylov, right?
Exactly. But here we are. Fluffy's looking good. I see no reason. Like in my mind, this is almost even more of a step down in danger. Maybe there's more danger in the grappling exchanges, but he's already lived 5 rounds with this guy, and I think Fluffy's grappling is the one that's gotten better in that time span. He's not just a pace monster; he's an absolute freak in the scrambles. The way he floats in top position. And he's got power in his hands. Like this dude delivers to the body up top. He varies his striking at all levels now. Fluffy, leg 1 of the we're allowed to do 1 parlay a week parlay. We tweeted it out. We got serious CLV on the overall numbers. So we'll get to the other 2 legs as we get deep. But Guru, talk to the people, man. Any props you're seeing? Anything I missed in the breakdown there, the analysis?
No, I think kind of this is one of those ones, like we said, if minus 200 north of the line, do you think you can get a finish? I do. I honestly think that the under 2.5 at plus 160, you don't even need to take a side, could be kind of interesting. Maybe Fluffy, gets hurt to the body again. Maybe he puts himself in a bad position. But I honestly think more often than not, Fluffy probably just grinds him out to a decision. Brendan Allen is a really tough guy. And we've seen that durability kind of put to the test lately. I mean, I know that the Imavov fight, again, still more and more impressive. I obviously didn't have the right read on this guy, picking Adesanya over him. Did we pick Cannonier too, TB? Did we pick you're muted. Did we pick Cannonier over Imavov back in the day?
No, we did take the Imavov side, but I don't think we actually...
We didn't love it, yeah.
We didn't love it.
Yeah, I certainly didn't think he'd finish him. But yeah, so I think you're on it there. Anthony Hernandez does Anthony Hernandez things, the dark horse to win the belt. What do you think there, McPick? So do you like that parlay?
Anthony Hernandez is one of the legs you're saying? What's the other one?
Oh, I guess do you want to get to it or?
Oh, sorry. Okay.
We'll get to it later.
We'll get
to it later.
We'll get there.
All
shit.
I think honestly, I'm not rushing to the betting window to fade a guy like Anthony Hernandez, but I think we're counting out Brendan Allen just a little bit here. I watched their original fight. That was a while ago. Both guys have gotten better, right? I mean, that was back and forth, but Hernandez clearly outworked him like he normally does in the UFC. But Brendan Allen, man, this guy was on a crazy streak before he lost to Imavov. And during that fight, like I listened to his interview this week, he was basically saying he wanted to pull out of the fight, but he didn't want to be a bitch. He's like, I had a terrible camp. I wanted to pull out, but I never wanted to. Who knows if he's just saying that, right? A lot of these fighters have excuses after they lose, but he did look flat, right? Like he took Imavov down in the first round and just controlled him. And then it's not like he was like takedown after takedown, like gassing himself out. And then the second and third round, he just like kind of looked flat, So
the French commission came in and took blood in the middle of the night and woke him up too. That was legit.
Right. So maybe there's some truth to that, maybe not. But yeah, he's got a tall task in front of him. Anthony Hernandez, I think his pace and pressure and just output is just unmatched right now in the UFC. But Hernandez can give up dominant positions in the grappling. He usually wiggles his way out, but I feel like you just can't be relying on that. And I was actually surprised to see it. It changed a little bit, but Brendan Allen's inside the distance line was like plus 750, like a day or two ago, which I think that's kind of his path to victory. Like, I don't think you're beating Fluffy in his decision because he's been hurt before. He was hurt very briefly by Pereira in the initial parts of the first round, and we saw him hurt by who was it? Marcus Perez early on in the UFC career. But I don't know. I feel like if Brandon can get his back, he has a nasty rear naked choke. I just feel like we're counting out the unders here, and we're counting out Brendan Allen completely. The way I'm going to look at it is I think I'm going to just I have no bet here. I'm going to see how round 1 goes. And if Brendan Allen's like gunning for it, like shooting takedowns, like really working for it, maybe we'll get a decent line on Fluffy. You never know. It didn't work out. That was my plan the last fight against Michel Pereira. and it was like minus 230 by the end of the first round. But me personally, I have no bet here, but I think that the over is a little bit too wide, and I think the Hernandez line is a little too wide as well. But I'm gonna watch and maybe get a better line on Hernandez. But I'm curious to see how this plays out. I think that we're counting out Brendan Allen a little bit here.
Yeah, I understand. Right. I'd say looking back at the Chris Curtis rematch, I mean, it was underwhelming. I mean, for us having a Brendan Allen ticket there, kind of get bailed out a little bit by the judges, and how the fight ends in that last exchange where Curtis suffers an injury and the optics are terrible to close out the fight. Quite frankly, Anthony Fluffy Hernandez is also someone that's quit drinking. He used to have a really bad problem, like blacking out and having real issues with alcohol early in his UFC career, to one point where he actually got kicked out of a UFC event that he was like invited to as like a, as an attendant, and they were like, nah, dude, you're way too messed up. Get out of here. And that's kind of what made him change it. And we see 2 times early in his career, Maluka Perez with the body shot and Kevin Holland with the body shot. One gets a sub, one gets a knockout. But it's the same thing. It's a guy that's not conditioned and not doing the work outside. Well, Fluffy's finally locked in on the work outside of the octagon. And that I think is the biggest difference here. And Allen, there's just always been something in him where, I don't know, he just seems to crumple down the stretch. And we see it also against Kyle Dawkins in round 3. I don't know. There's a lot of examples for me. So round 2, round 3, Fluffy, those would be the prop plays if I was going to give them to you. And to your point, McPicks, I do like an under in general, because if Fluffy's losing, it's going to be by finish.
It was my point too, Father.
Yeah, of course. I just tuned you out like you tuned me out sometimes.
Oh, no. You just wanted to give our handsome guest his credit.
And I wanted to make you salty, so I did my job. Here we go. Salty. We've got Rob Italic Font versus Mean Gian Matsumoto.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah, I know. It's supposed to be Mean Gene, but then that's not how you say his name. So, but it's
Gian?
Italic Font. Yeah, Gian Matsumoto.
I don't like Italic Font.
Would you like bold font? I did Comic Sans last time. You didn't like it. Like, you're just hard to please, man. I don't know what to tell you. Give me Rob Rockefeller font. Is that what you want?
What the fuck? Why that?
That's a font. I don't know, man. I'm trying to come up with names of different fonts for you.
You should have used Wingdings.
Wingdings. Yeah, but he's got straight punches. He doesn't wing those dings. All right. Anyways, is Fluffy a slow starter? I don't know. I just think sometimes, but once he gets the reads and gets going, there's no slowing him down, right?
I think that's fair, though. I think
he's one of those guys that like takes a few shots to wake up, and then he just puts it on you.
For sure.
His pace is crazy. What he did to Michelle Pereira with 10 takedowns and 250 strikes was fucking insane.
Can I tell you something? There is who I hope is a young, wise, and handsome Nate Ladshaw coming out here, hooking up the boys with the stats display so that TV doesn't have to do as much work. And looking at the stats here, this is one of those.
Did you say you hope he's young and handsome?
And wealthy. I hope all those things are going for him, because he deserves it for letting us use his stats for the display. But
does he let us? You got his permission?
I asked him.
Oh, you did?
I asked him. I said, can we use it for the show? And he said, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't just do this without giving people credit. So, no, I wouldn't. Anyways, we used to have our own, and, your boy works a lot more. So, Rob Font plus 136, Mean Gene minus 162. I think we got an interesting fight here. This is one of those ones where, I have some difficulty sometimes in determining these young versus old guy matchups. And I feel like Guru's got something to say. So what do we got?
A question. I got a question. And shout out our boy Brady, DFS by the numbers, right?
Okay.
Is Rob Font washed?
I don't think so.
McPicks, is Rob Font washed?
Kyler Phillips doesn't think so.
There you go.
Right.
I don't think so.
So I don't think so either. Adrian Yanez doesn't think so. Look, his losses are to Davison Figueiredo, who we picked, Corey Sanhagen, who we picked, Marlon Vera, who we picked, Jose Aldo, who we picked.
And did he outstrike every single one of those guys?
Yep, till he got hurt.
It's just he gets hurt in the pocket, which is understandable against those type of fighters, right?
Exactly. And of course, could that happen here if he ends up being stupid? Sure. But I think this is a guy with more experience. I know he's a guy with size and reach advantage, right? So I'm thinking that, and I also know that Gian Matsumoto is coming in on short notice, right? Or
relatively, he was scheduled for an event a few weeks from now. That's why it's a catch weight.
He was scheduled for 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks from now at the pay-per-view with Chris Gutierrez. Good call. But so set relatively short notice. Rob Font was gearing up for a co-main event with Dominic Cruz. Big legacy type fight.
Yeah.
So
Big step
why
up.
is he the underdog here? Exactly. Huge step up for Mean Gene, who again, I watched him lose the first 6 minutes versus Dan fucking Argueta till Dan gassed out. And I watched him kind of go life and death in a war exciting fight with Brad Katona of all people. So sure, can Gene get the finish? Maybe if he catches him. Otherwise, I think Font cruises to a decision. So at an over minus 360, that's what the book thinks. I tend to agree. I think Font gets it done by decision.
So he went to the body against Kyler, but Kyler was running a backwards marathon. Most of that, yeah, that's true. He was throwing a lot of kicks also. And that's where kind of we see Kyler gas out. Now, I bring up the stats full screen here so that we can show you guys. We see a 3-inch reach advantage, a 2-inch height advantage. We also see a way better distance striking differential per minute at distance, and as well as significantly less strikes absorbed per minute at distance on the Rob Font side. You see like head strike defense, Rob Font 61%, 65% to G Matsumoto's 48%. And what you see is that Font is going to use his jab to keep you on the outside. And there are fights where he doesn't really have a significant reach advantage. Well, this one he does, right? And he has a significant experience advantage as well. When you watch the way Matsumoto crashes the pocket, like, yeah, against Dan Argueta, it's cool. Against Brad Katona, where the punches don't hurt, but the elbow does, like, then it got a little sketchy by the end of round 1 and into round 2 and into round 3 as it's like a bloody, crazy fight, right?
Guess what?
What?
Sorry, guess what? Last two fights, all two, and of course his Dana White Contender Series fight, small octagon, big octagon here.
And it's Hobby Font, baby. I'm just saying what I envision here. This is like, maybe it's not the full Yanez experience. Maybe we don't get a round 1 knockout. Maybe Matsumoto's got a little bit more mean in him.
I think he does.
But I think either way, we're looking at Rob Font all day. I mean, he's clearly going to win the striking advantages. I mean, the fact that Brad Katona, who is tiny as hell with one of the shortest reaches out there, I mean, that's why we picked Matsumoto by decision. But man, oh man, did he make it sketchy. So in this fight, he's going to be the one, I think, absorbing more damage because the straight shots of Font, as Matsumoto crashes and jumps into the pocket, Font is going to be piecing up a 1, 2, 3 jabs in a row, and he could follow through with the straight right. He has uppercuts. He works to the body. He has kicks. He even has his own offensive wrestling, say we need to get there. And we see an improvement in his get-up game against Kyler Phillips last fight. So, yeah, Katona does have his own verse. You the worst, you the worst.
I don't
Welcome
get it.
to the Katona verse.
Why would I want to go there?
I don't know. But G Matsumoto went there and survived. But I think
Which is not impressive. Everybody goes there and survives.
Exactly.
He's a decisionator. But he goes to war with him. And
Yes.
and again, to Liam's point, Katona is a fucking midget. So it's this
Jeez.
guy. It's this is a really tough matchup for him.
Insensitive.
TV,
Mick
you rambled
Picks.
on forever. Can we please hear from Mick Picks?
I was just about to pass it over.
I agree with you guys. We're going 3 for 3 on this one.
Let's go. Trifecta.
Yeah, I think just the circumstances favor Rob Font here. You guys mentioned it. Short notice for G Matsumoto, right? And I also like that it's a catch weight, 140. I think that's going to help Rob Font's durability.
Thank you for
Because
mentioning that.
Yes.
37 years old now, right? That's
Oh,
what's been getting him. It's not the volume. He's outstriking all of his opponents. He's getting knocked down. That's why he's losing his fights. He has been finished, though. He has good recoverability. The other thing, you guys touched on this. Gene Matsumoto, this dude he's very good. He's young, but he likes to sit in the pocket and exchange, right? Now, you can do that against a guy like Brad Katona, but can you do that against Rob Font? I mean, he has a lot more power than Brad Katona. And everyone talks about it. He's got a nasty jab. I mean, Rob Font's going to put out volume. He brings cardio, brings toughness. He's in your face with pressure. Yeah, I think he's a really good underdog this week. I do think it goes to a decision, but I could see Font hurting Matsumoto at some point because that dude is there to be hit. I mean, he stands his ground, like he'll stay there and exchange with you, but he's there to be hit, and you can't do like Gene Matsumoto. Great cardio. He seems to be well-rounded, good prospect, but he's going to get caught at some point doing what he's doing, right? He's going to get caught. He got hurt a couple of times by Brad Katona. bit of a red flag in my opinion. So he's going to get caught. I think Rob Font has the power to do it. I'm not saying he's going to knock him out, but I think he could hurt him for sure. So yeah, Rob Font I think is a pretty good underdog this week.
Hell yeah!
Oh, and
Dogs by
not for
decision against undefeated fighters. Love that.
And I was going to say, to Liam's point, I think Rob's game has improved 10 times in the last 5 years. That maybe that's also true. And reason maybe why we took a stupid shot on Calvin Kattar last week. He's with Calvin Kattar, training with Zahabi and over there. So that's Zahabi, both Zahabis. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, make sure shout out to Liam. Thanks so much for joining us in the live chat tonight. One of the sharper guys out there. And make sure you're checking out his content as he breaks it down later. Yes, there you go, Guru. You know the right thing to do.
Yes,
and I had the coffee.
For sure.
I had the coffee just for Liam. So, all right. Without further ado, we had the trifecta. If you're not playing Rob Font, you're a silly guy. And it's
Canada
possible
scored
to
already, by the way.
Yeah, of course they did.
I knew I should have bet them.
Yeah, I apologize to people on the rewatch that don't care about hockey. We're moving on. We've got Lord Jean Silva. See, they're both Jean, right? Lord John Silva minus 520 versus Melsick, the gun, or should we say the pullout, Baghdasaryan. I'm hoping we still have this fight come Saturday night. If there's anything Melsick has done, it's pulled out more times than he's actually fought in the UFC. And when he has fought in the UFC, I don't know, man. I'm not loving what I'm seeing. Which banner do you need? Are you doing it?
I think there's a hater alert banner from back in the day.
Yeah, there might be. But yeah,
there it is. It's so old. There it is. The hater alert banner.
Okay. People are out here asking, if this fight takes place from distance, how could it be minus 520 Jean Silva? Maybe it's because Melsick is dropping round 3 to a guy like what was it? I hate to be wrong here. Was it not CJ Vergara? I'm going off of memory. I'm going to pull it up just so I could do it, right? No, okay. So Dennis Bazookia beats him on contenders. Anglin, great job. Bruno Souza is the guy that we watched live. Beat him in round 3 in a sketchy, just terrible, slow pace, low output decision. Josh Cooleybow, what happened there, brother? We're talking about.
I don't remember that fight at all.
Yeah, we watched that. That was our first event. Second event? First event.
First.
Usman Covington
took you for your 30th.
Yeah, and I got the poster up on the wall now. Let's go. And as we're watching that fight, I mean, Melsick's just falling apart down round 3, and you're like, damn, is this guy going to hold on? And we bet a finish, and it's just he's so low volume, you know? Then against Josh Cooleybow, I mean, yeah, he's having success, but he's only landed 26 strikes into round 2 when he throws the laziest kick, and just all of a sudden it's a back take, a rear naked choke, no hooks in. And this guy just bitches out, man. And then Tucker Lutz. People are out here betting Tucker Lutz against Melsick, and I thought it was silly. It's truly just a firepower discussion, right? Like Tucker just, while he looks muscular, he's not fluid at all. And that was his issue. While he landed 3 takedowns, while he's able to get 6 minutes of control time on 9 takedown attempts, Melsick is just the way better athlete. And like he just presents so much more danger in that fight. Tucker, the dude is stiff, slow, like muscular, but not really athletic, where there's no actual threat in that fight. So you're telling me that Melsick really has not had any impressive performance in the UFC aside from the human punching bag Colin Anglin. So that's why John Silva is minus 520.
His most impressive performance is the way that he loses versus Josh Cooleybow. That was the most impressive thing he's done in the UFC.
Yeah, because how do you lose that badly? That was just
it was hilarious. He was winning the fight, cruising by. He throws himself out of position, and he fucking Cooleybow just spider monkeys onto his back and chokes him out.
And Cooleybow is also an idiot too, so that makes it look worse.
Yes.
It was hilarious.
Oh my God. After watching the Ricardo Hambosh fight, I'm like,
oh my God,
how bad is Melsick?
We know how bad Cooleybow is. We bet Danny Silva plus money, who's now a minus 200 favorite in his fight next week.
All right,
but
you guys beat me to the punch in the chat here, because if there was anything I was going to do, and the first thing that we did, what did we do, Guru? We played this is our second leg of the parlay. Right? We had Sean Silva in there. We did this last week, by the way. Tweeted it out.
We did tweet it out. And we don't tweet out all our picks just because of, I don't know.
Cash out ability.
That's it.
We want to be able to have a clean cash out if we have it sometimes. But if we're confident, I mean, why wouldn't I be confident here? And the other thing is if he wants to and he doesn't just want to pulverize Melsik's face from distance, I mean, this is a step down from Drew Dober. Let me remind you, Jean Silva, this is a step down from Charles Jourdain and Drew Dober, okay? And in this fight, if he chooses to grapple for more than 10 consecutive seconds, we're getting another submission. So that's the prop, man. Plus 650, Jean Silva by submission when his knockout is minus 110. I'm going to take a little chance. I think it's worth a little something.
But will he grapple? Do you think he'll actually grapple?
I don't think he actually has to be honest.
But I think he
Melsik,
can
I
if
smell
he
a little
needs to.
something. No, I don't think he needs to. I don't think so.
Okay, but I think the point is that if for some reason he's tired, he gets rocked, he can rely on that. I think
Right, he has that. If he needs it, he has it. But I don't know. I feel like he's not going to proactively grapple. You know, it's like maybe it's going to be opportunistic or something like that.
Correct.
He likes to strike, and the dude, like even when he was taking down his other opponents, he'd take him down, he'd drop him, he'd just stand up, and he wants him on the feet, like he wants to knock him out. This dude's a sick dude.
Nate the Train vibes.
100%. He deserves the name Lord, without a doubt. But
Lord.
I just think that he's the way better, more well-rounded mixed martial artist here. I think he should have the speed advantage, even if he's a little bit smaller. And I think that he's going to have he has all the finishing upside. So the line does make sense. But what did we get? What did we get him at in the parlay? The parlay that we got at plus money is now like minus 140. I am Lord. Lord. But the Lord has the E on the end.
But I just thought it was for Jean Silva, so I left out the E. But
yeah.
All right, I'm going to check what the line was on Jean Silva in the parlay for us as we pass off to McPicks here. What do you got?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise. I got Silva. Just more like how is he going to win? You know, is he going to finish? You guys think he might get the late sub? Obviously, a possibility. The thing is with the knockout here, like his previous opponents have been boxing heavy, I feel like, and he's had a lot of opportunities. Like Melzik is more like a distance management. He throws a lot of kicks, so he's tough to find sometimes.
He's a weasel.
Yeah, and to give him credit, he is a really good kickboxer. He's got fast hands, fast kicks. The thing is, though, like, you know, he slows down. That's obviously not a good thing. And with Silva, like, he has that combination that most guys don't have. He's dangerous with nasty power. He's durable, but he also has cardio. Like, usually you give one up for the other. You know what I mean? And he has all three of those things. And he's a psychopath, too, to top it off, which, you know, just makes things even better.
Yes.
So, you know, he's gonna, and he doesn't seem like he could get hurt. Like, he doesn't seem like he's never been hurt. Like, I don't think he could hurt this guy. So how does he win? You know, is he going to finish? Is he not going to finish? I could see this one. It all depends on how aggressive he comes out. Like, he wasn't as aggressive in the Dober fight. I think as Dober was pressing him, he was a little more aggressive in the Jourdain fight. So if Silva is super aggressive from the get-go, then yeah, maybe you get an early finish. But I feel like I could see this one creeping over that 1.5 round mark, and then Silva just kind of ramps up the aggression late and then just finds a finish somehow, especially when Melzik starts to get tired. But yeah, I mean, this guy Silva is a lot of fun to watch, must-see TV. The dude is an emotional roller coaster too. I mean, before going into the octagon, he's barking, right? Then while fighting, he's dapping his opponents up. He's friends with his opponents. And then he wins and he's sobbing in the octagon. Like, he's apologizing to his opponents. Like, the guy is just a head case, but fun to watch. Yeah, I'm excited to watch this one, but got to go Silva.
Hell yeah. And, you know, sorry to be those guys, but right now we're 3 for 3 on crushing line movement in this parlay. We're also 3 for 3 on picking favorites so far on this card, right? So, or no, I'm sorry. We have one underdog. We gave you the Rob Font so far. So it's a little sandwich.
He's going to win,
the underdog. He is. And then, okay, so our parlay, I know you guys were patiently waiting. So Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, we got at minus 250. He's in the minus 300 range now. And Jean Silva, we got at minus 500. Like, they already kind of knew what the vibes were immediately.
And might as well tell them the last leg because they probably know it.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are asking the question, then you should know the Mansour, that it's Mansour Abdul Malik as the third leg of the parlay. But instead of minus 1,200, you guys could have had him at minus 600 with us, right? So we're doing the job. We put this play out last week, or very early this week. It's a minus 600 Mansour, minus 500 Jean Silva, minus 250 Fluffy Hernandez for a grand total of plus 101 for 3 units. That's our one parlay we're allowed for the week. All right, we're moving on. They all can get a finish too. That's why we do it, right? Okay, moving on. We've got Atomic Alonzo Menifield versus, this is an incredible nickname, not of my own, the Juice Box, Julius Walker. Oh man, this is exciting. I am really looking forward to Alonzo versus his fourth short notice debut opponent. And is he going to go 4 for 4 on getting a finish on these?
Yes.
There you go, Guru. Take it away. What are you thinking?
I think he gets a finish on this guy. That's
nice.
I mean, there's really not too much to handicap in my mind. Alonzo Menifield loses to Azamat Mirzakhanov and Carlos Ulberg. Is that great? No. Are those guys both top 15? Yes. So they're excusable on some regard. Julius Walker is not the fucking guy. There's just some suspect, who he's fought, and beating Bevion Lewis is not super impressive.
Bevan, there's no E. There's no E.
Oh,
everyone always does this. Like, come on, read. Use your eyes. It's Bevan Lewis. Okay,
I can't. I can't read.
No, this is to all of the MMA capping community. It's not Bevion Lewis. Who are you thinking of? It's not Le'Veon Bell. Okay, it's Bevan.
How many people are referencing Bevan Lewis?
It's true.
I'm just saying.
It happens.
And this was in the past too, when he fought
in the UFC.
Like, you listen to breakdowns, and I'm like, guys, like,
all right,
I understand not getting Rafael Cerqueira, but fucking Bevan. Okay, sorry.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. It's okay. TV gets really stressed out. He needs one of those. The Eagles have it, the low sensitivity rooms, because he's stimming out over there.
Yeah, it's going crazy. I'm sorry.
You guys ever see The Other Guys, the movie?
Yeah.
Dude, that rant just went on. Remind me of It's Christina. That seems like it's Christina. My wife's name is Christina.
Yes.
So great.
Oh my god.
That's so fucking great. Alonzo Menifield let me look up the props. What's his round 1, round 2? It's probably not even plus money. I should have looked it up already. I should have looked it up during TB's rant. I was actually listening to that for no reason. That was
pretty good. Well, because it was
instead of tuning you out like I should have.
Well, because I was yelling at you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was very.
All right.
I'm very startled right now.
Aggressive.
Oh my god. Round 1, round 2 is plus 105. I'm so fucking in.
Wow.
Round 1, round 2, Alonzo Menifield plus 105. Somebody suck me.
Where was the best odds, you said?
Plus round 1, round 2. The only place I know we get it at is
you can get that on DraftKings.
Oh yeah, that's we can check that.
So we can check there. Anyways, McPicks, what do you got here?
First thing I want to say is, like, TB, we were talking about this card. I was getting some shit, but it's actually like a decent card. Yep. I just wish that they, like, the 4 top fights in the main card, awesome, all gonna be great. I feel like they could have bumped this one down for like the Cutelaba, Aslan, or the Fili, Costa fight.
Yes.
But here we are. And this is going to be the first disagreement. I'm going to disagree with Guru on this one. I think this one goes over, actually.
You think Juice is tough?
What's that?
You think Juice is tough?
Yeah, I do. And, Menifield, he was knocked out in his previous 2 fights. He might come out.
He's going to wrestle.
He might come out a little tentative. Julius likes to grapple. He likes to cage push. So does Menifield. The thing is, though, Menifield, this dude's a fucking bowling ball, man. He's really tough initially to take down and hold down. I mean, we saw that in the Jimmy Crute fight. Eventually had success, but initially, I mean, I know this guy's 37, but he's still tough to take down and hold down, I think. And this guy cage pushes a lot. Menifield doesn't throw a lot of volume. I think he's never been finished. He's amateur, pro career. I don't think he's the best striker. I'm talking about Walker. And I just see these guys, striking from distance, not like really selling out, or a lot of cage pushing. And also, if Walker gets taken, I could see Menifield getting on top of Walker and just kind of ripping the clock away, So I think this one personally, I think it goes over. Now, if Menifield just blows him out of the water, could that happen? Yes, the dude has power. But Walker's young, he's big. I think he doesn't have a lot of miles on him, so I kind of have a feeling this one goes over, but I am picking Menifield to win. I think that this one creeps. I wouldn't be surprised, hot take, if this one goes through the scorecards.
To your point, we're generally, and maybe I do need to reconsider, I'm definitely going to look deeper into it. Generally speaking, when we have young, undefeated prospects, we tend to think that their first loss comes by decision as opposed to a finish.
Well, he also has 3 losses in his amateur career, all by decision.
Yeah.
We've seen him grapple for extended periods. We've seen him give up his back, nearly get rear naked choked in the first round by forgot the guy's name. It was like he was solid enough, like a 8-2 or something like that. But you see him end up getting the triangle choke by round 2 as this other guy just gasses out. It's like Detling or I don't know, whatever the guy's name was. It's on the regionals, and Julius said, yes, Bartling, that's what it was. Yeah. Thank you. And that's where you see like he's in wrestling exchanges, and it's like he's not just clearly winning all them, and that's where I think Alonso is going to be a step ahead for most of this. And yeah, you know what? I tweeted out earlier this week. I was like, I don't think I can trust, Alonso, but I trust Alonso. And someone was like, oh, take the under. And I was like, actually, what if I told you I like the over 1.5? So I forgot about that. Thank you, McPix. You're bringing this back around town for us. And you know what? Alonso decision. What is that? 6-1 that Daz is saying out there, or Glenbot? Okay. All right.
Yeah. I like that line.
I would play that.
Alonso, when he first came to the UFC, he was like first round, like he's letting it all out. And then he totally toned down the aggression. Now, the only thing that concerns me about the over is his last fight. He was super tentative against Mirzakhanov, and he just got pieced up. So I'm afraid maybe he comes out a little more aggressive this time, but it's just really not his style anymore, I don't think. And I think that this guy Walker is young, is durable, but we'll see. These are big boys going at it.
I will say also the basketball background makes me question a couple things from the toughness and all that. And like Alonso has the football background. That's I don't know. It sounds like really surface level stuff, but when you think about the type of rigors that go into a football training camp versus, load management, basketball, D2 player, right? I don't know. Something about Juicebox tells me don't trust the guy, even though he's got the anthropomorphic advantages. He's got like 4-inch height, 5-inch reach. I just don't think he actually knows how to use them.
I mean, even how they respond to getting hurt, right? I mean, a basketball player, and a football player, how they respond to any sort of injury is different. So, not a bad point.
All right. Beautiful. I'm glad I think we came to something really nice there. We're moving on to the most important part. You guys got to help support us out here. We're 3/4 of the way to 1,000 subscribers. You guys have been electric. We're finally delivering on the winning results. 5 out of 5, 25 units so far in 2025. It's only going to get better from here.
Dude, and not for nothing, not to toot my own horn, but feel free to follow me over on BetMMA. I have somehow quietly also went 5 for 5, of course, for this year, but I am 13 of 15 winning weeks, which is just like nuts for me. So feel free to
man. Good work.
I appreciate that, man. We were 500 units a year for 4 years, break-even gamblers, and to be up 25 units, 5 events in, we just want to at the very least, tread water. If not, fucking go for it all, baby. I don't see why we can't break 100 units.
Well, here's what I think we've been doing better is we're not going for it all on every bet. It's about spreading it out with thoughts that we like, finding props to mix in when the money lines aren't appropriate, and having a balanced approach. So hope you guys are following along. Hope you guys are profiting as well. And let's keep the good vibes rolling, right? If you guys are so kind to donate, I mean, go ahead, do your thing. But listen, we're going to keep on moving here. In our next matchup, another one of these Twitter bet specials of the week for us, we've got Iwan the Hulk Cutelaba versus Ibo the Last Ottoman Aslan. Iwan versus Ibo. You couldn't ask for any better type of matchup from a first name perspective. This could be in KSW. This could have been, I don't know. But here we are in the UFC with these absolute mammoths. And, man, I think we're throwing down on Saturday night. Iwan Cutelaba, I went into watching it was also very confusing. Like, Ivan Arslan is not Ibo Aslan, in case you guys were wondering. Slightly confusing going back on the tape. But Ivan Arslan, the way that he differs from Ibo, one, from a physicality perspective, like the dude's got like, he's got a 6-pack, but he's also got like really weird, like love handles and like gyno out of this world. Now, Ibo, he's also got gyno out of this world, but I don't know. He's just like, he's way like more athletic and fluid in his physicality. Whereas Ivan Arslan, that dude's just like a rock'em sock'em robot. He's got no real fluidity to his movement. And he's kind of like, it's like one of those guys where like, yeah, he looks like he's in great shape, but just something's off. Ebo, he comes in, he's going to have a 2-inch height, 2-inch reach advantage. Some of the stats could definitely be skewed from that Cerqueda fight. But the end of the day, I mean, Iwan is not at a positive striking differential. He's giving up the size, the age, the reach. I know he's going to be like a little bit of like a southpaw or switch stance vibes, but I mean, when Ebo starts coming forward and you get in the pocket, does it really matter what stance you are at that juncture? Not really. This isn't going to be a technical fight. This is, I'm going to come meet you. We're going to throw down and we're going to see what happens. And if Iwan Cutelaba is a smart person, if he's a smart person.
No, we know he's not a smart person.
Okay, but if he was, he's shooting takedowns the entire night. It's just, I turned on that Ivan Arslan fight, and he's just swinging fucking hammers in round one. This dude has not learned anything. Zero defense. He's still getting wobbled. It's just that Arslan, he really isn't like, I don't know. He's not going to throw a 26-punch combination when you're up along the fence. He's not going to throw a 26-punch combination when he sees that he hurt you with a jab. He's not going to just
because he's a bitch, because he sucks.
Exactly. But Ebo, this guy's scary, okay? Like, when you see that he finally learned that, like, I just need to focus on stuffing takedowns at all costs. Don't end up on my back. And, you know, it's going to be better. Listen, we don't need to parlay Ebo when you followed us and you got him at minus 135 earlier in the week, right? You wouldn't need to parlay him.
We played 4 units on minus 135. Probably one of our biggest bets of the week. You can't trust the Hulk, man. I mean, he quits. He quits, man. He quits versus Kennedy and Zetriku. Like, he's winning that entire first round. He fucking quits. Losing to Ryan Spann hilariously. Getting outworked by Felipe Lins. And that Arslan fight was way too close. Did he even win that? I don't know.
I think he did, but still, it's just like, I think so. That guy was round one or bust, and he couldn't put him away down the stretch. Like, that's not a great sign.
I love our line. I had no idea the line was going to separate this much, but I think that's what I think it's fair. I think this line's probably more accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. McPix, I have a feeling that you might not love the 4 units here on Ebo. Not going to lie, I've been getting a little scared, but I see Ebo coming in like some of the best shape that I've seen. Like, there's less jiggle, and he seems a little bit more like locked in. Maybe it's
this fight's gonna go the distance. It'll be hilarious.
Yeah. I'm loving it. So that's why I didn't want to take an inside. I was just like, hey, I'm projecting this line to potentially, this was my call on this one. So if it goes down in flames, I apologize. But I told Guru, hey, listen, this line's gonna move. We need to get in and we need to hammer it because I think Ebo's gonna try to hammer Iwan.
I'm also interested, and I've decided now. I'm interested in the over 1.5. I think it takes some time. He took some time to finish Turkali.
It's true. All right, now McPix, I'm sorry we cut you off. What do you got going on here?
So when I first was looking at this line before I looked into it, you see Cutelaba. I saw him as like plus 140 at the time. I'm like, maybe, because he has the grappling upside, obviously, and we haven't really seen Aslan's ground game tested for the most part in the UFC, at least. But then as you look into it, or as I looked into it, Aslan, he's bigger, he's longer, he's younger, he's probably more durable. And I just think Cutelaba is going to come up short on a lot of his strikes, and he's going to get caught here. Cutelaba's defense is like, when he's just standing there, it's pretty tight. But when he opens up a little bit, which he's aggressive to begin with, he leaves a lot of openings. I think he's going to get clipped at some point and put out. But you never know if he survives early. I was actually kind of impressed with Aslan's cardio, though, a couple fights ago. But if Cutelaba can get his wrestling going, get on top, he's pretty devastating with his ground and pound. But I do think that Aslan's going to catch him. I think he's going to catch him probably early. But if this fight goes to decision, like you said, it'll be hilarious because I think both guys could finish each other. Cutelaba is super aggressive. So is Aslan, obviously, almost 100% finish rate. Or does he have 100% knockout rate? I don't know.
Yeah, all 14. It's just one of them took till round 3. but he
Yeah.
still finished all of them by knockout.
So super aggressive. But yeah, like I said, I just think Cutelaba, I think he's going to come up short on a lot of his strikes and he's going to get clipped and put out. I think it's going to be like the first round, to be honest. So
Yeah, no, I think Ebo is literally, it's going to look like all of his other fights. And the thing is, like, Iwan is willing to do it. And that's why they have this fight. What is this? This is the one before the main card. This gets all the people pumped up going into, you get an extra few minutes to go get concessions because the fight ended within 2 minutes, and then, okay, get ready for the main card, guys. It's going to be sick.
Yeah, I think this, it's probably accurate, the under over at a pick'em, but typically the way I look at it is I think both these guys, I usually only play it under if both fighters are live for a finish. And I think that's the case here. I didn't play it, but I'm just saying, like, I think both these guys are live for both these guys can knock each other out. I wouldn't be surprised either way, but I do think Aslan catches them.
I'm calling out Glenbot and an Aussie fight fan. I think that they're just attracted to Iwan's nipples. They're irregular for any other fighter. When you see this man weigh in, it's scary. It's scary. It's terrifying. And they're in my nightmares.
He's fully torped at all times. He's just ready to roll.
He's the Hulk for many reasons.
Yes.
All right, we're moving on. I'm sorry to take us off the derailment there. And look at that. We go from his nipples to Touchy Fili. Andre Touchy Fili minus 102. Optimal. Yeah, pretty optimal, right? Versus Milk Coffee, the Milkman delivers, Melchizedek Costa minus 118. I want to know what people are seeing here. Guru, I'm going to go ahead and skip over McPicks. What are you thinking in this fight? I'm very curious.
You're going to skip McPicks? How dare you do something like that?
Guru. No, I'm going right to McPicks.
Oh, you're skipping over Guru to McPicks. That's not what you said, was it?
Yes, I did. You tuned me out slightly, but that's okay. I don't blame you. All right, what do you got?
Yeah, I think this is a Fili spot. I'm going with the slight underdog in Fili for a number of reasons. I think he can leverage a couple of things. One, obviously, one thing we got to talk about is the level of competition and experience, right? There's no comparing these two in that regard. But the other thing is, I think Costa is a bit of a quitter. I think when things aren't going his way and if he works too hard, the dude looks for a way out. I think that Fili has more power than him. So Fili tends to do very, very good against like that low to mid-tier fighter. And I think Costa falls in that category. And he fights competitive against like the upper echelon of guys in the division. But I think that Costa, he's not, I'm not saying he's bad, but he's not like top 15 good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think Fili, he has more power. I don't think that Costa can hurt Fili, to be honest. Fili's been knocked out, but look who he's been knocked out by or hurt by, I think Fili has more power. I think he'd hurt Costa at the feet. I wouldn't be surprised if he knocked him out. And yeah, just a level of experience, that veteran savvy. The wrestling is another thing. He's not the best, doesn't have the best top control. I'm not going to say he's Khabib, right? But he can absolutely take down Costa, does not have good takedown defense. And Costa also likes to do the jiu-jitsu game on his back. So if he doesn't catch Fili in his submission, he's going to be on his back. He's burning, minutes, he's burning time, and he's losing the round. And the other thing, too, is everyone associates Fili with California. He's a Washington State guy. He's a Seattle guy. He was born and raised in the Seattle region. He's going to get the local support. It's not a long commute. And the other thing, too, did you see the way that Costa looked today? I looked at his Instagram. The dude is sucked out. This guy's been bouncing back between 155 and 145. He looks like an alien. He's like cheekbones are out. Not even kidding. Dude looks like ET. He's like his chin is like narrow. So the guy's obviously cutting a lot of weight. Fili, he's 34 years old. Obviously, it's a bit of concern, but I don't think he looked like he slowed down at all. So I think this is a vet lesson here. I think Fili is going to hurt him at some point. And if not, then he can bank rounds with his wrestling. He just has multiple ways to win. So yeah, Fili all day for me here.
E.T. Fun hum. Yes.
I love that. That's exactly what I've been saying. I've been saying it since the moment I saw the fight break. We waited for plus money. We dipped in on it. You can still touch a little bit of plus money if you're interested. After hearing you go off, I just laid a little bit more at plus money because I firmly agree. I think people think that Costa is going to have the grappling advantage, and I don't think that either. I think his team alpha male wrestling is much better, and I think Milky Costa, smells a little fishy. And I think he's definitely very liable to just kind of hang out off his back if he wants to. So I like Andre Fili on the feet, bigger, stronger. I honestly even probably faster guy. So yeah, I love it. The southpaw thing does give me some pause, but guys, underdog, taking him. Let's
Fili
go.
switches stances a bunch, though. He's a
Sure.
very smooth boxer. He can fight off the back foot.
He's a better striker.
Yeah, I pull up the advantages here, so I know Fili's 6 years older, but he has the 3-inch reach advantage.
Right.
And and look at the striking differentials here. Like, I know Melk shows to have like crazy abilities, but when you look at the guys that he does it against, well, one of them is Austin Lingo, hashtag not impressed. And then the other one, what is it? His contender series fight. I mean, they gave him like an absolute trash bag. No, it wasn't that. No, it was literally just the Austin Lingo fight. Every other fight, he's getting outstruck essentially. So it's not good for him in that regard. His stats are kind of fraudulent because if I got to fight Austin Lingo 1 out of 4 times, I would lose. But if you gave Andre Fili that opportunity,
I think you'd lose 10 out of 10 times.
Oh yeah, no. But I'm saying Andre Fili, you give him that opportunity, well then he's probably having a fun time.
He wins 10 out of 10.
Exactly. So ultimately, the thought here is like, yeah, there's a little bit of danger from a durability perspective. But
No.
I mean, Fili's just got the breadth of experience, and watching the way that he's able to kind of just like use his veteran experience. This isn't Bryce Mitchell. This isn't Nathaniel Wood. This isn't Dan Ige. This is Mel Costa. I mean, yeah, he lost to Thiago Moises and Garcia. Deserves a bit of a break for that. Well, how do you explain losing to Shayilan Nurdenbecka for 7.5 minutes? And also, I mean, yeah, Austin Lingo, good job. You did what you were supposed to. Like you get a pat on the back for that one. But ultimately, yeah, we're on the touchy-feely side. Let's make it 3 instead of 2 units. Is that what you did, Guru?
Sure.
Beautiful. So we've got a 3-unit play on Andre Fili. Bet 365, ESPN bet, each have plus money still available. Go find it. We got a trifecta. That's why I like to pass it off first sometimes to our amazing guests, just to make sure, they're not trying to make us feel good and end up on the same ones. Like, we didn't talk about this before the show, guys. We just got analysis coming together. All right. So that's it. You asked the question. I've got the Mansur Abdul Malik minus 1,200, the third leg of our parlay. Hope you got him minus 600 with us. Nick Blue Collar Klein plus 750. I mean, this guy even himself admits in interviews that he knows he's up against it athletically in this matchup. He's hoping to survive early and putting on him late in round 3. I don't think we get past the first part of that plan. I don't think he survives early. That's why we parlayed him. Mansur clearly being promoted in front of a crowd, given the right type of buildup here. Nick Klein, I mean, yeah, maybe he's only 1 inch shorter, only 2 inches less reach. I mean, the intangibles are just nowhere close. You can't just sell out for a quick rear naked on a guy like Mansur. He's got the scrambling ability. He's got the ground and pound. He's got the advantage in the stand-up. He's winning this fight.
I don't have anything to add. He's a minus 1,200 favorite that we bet at minus 600. What do you got, McPix?
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see a path for this guy Klein. I mean, he's outgunned everywhere. Mansur is going to be stronger, faster, more athletic, more dangerous, better striker. I saw this guy Nick Klein on the regional scene. Like, obviously his contender series, he did a good job. He got the fight. Fight ended really quick, but we didn't really get to see him fight too much. I've seen this guy against other strikers that aren't that powerful. He's a little stiff on the feet. He gets caught and he tends to panic wrestle. I mean, you're not safe really anywhere against this guy Malik because he's got some nasty ground and pound. And if you go for submissions, whatever you go for, he's going to hammer fist you to oblivion, So, yeah, it's a tough matchup for Klein coming out on short notice too.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And that's the thing. Like, yeah, he trained with Wes Schultz too, so maybe he knows what to expect. But I don't think Wes Schultz is reporting back that he had a good time in there with Mansur. I'll tell you that. All right, here we go. We're moving on. Pretty Ricky Simone plus 205. Simone says versus the Snow Leopard, Javid Basharat minus 250. Guru, I've been doing a lot of these early breakdowns here. Give me a break. Go ahead. Tell me what you got.
Yeah, I mean, it's a square play, but I like Javid Basharat here. I understand people taking the Ricky Simone shot. I don't hate the people taking the Ricky Simone shot. Sure, Javid Basharat is sketchy. Sure, shout out to Liam Picks Fights, who aptly said that Javid has quietly not won a fight in 2 years. So, yeah, those kinds of things are tough. But Ricky Simone has loudly not won a fight in 2.5 years, and he's just he's outgunned in this spot. He's shorter. He's got a reach disadvantage. I think this is a Bull and Matador type spot, and Javid is going to absolutely be the Matador here. I think he puts it on him. Ricky's tough as a SOB, so this is absolutely decision written all over it. So Occam's razor, which is simplest explanation, seems to be the right one most often than not. So Javid Basharat by decision. If I can somehow touch plus money, I'm in like Flynn. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it all depends on what type of Ricky Simone we're getting here, because I feel like, even though he's still young, he's kind of, I don't want to say he's regressing, but he just doesn't have that same fire, tenacity ever since he kind of got beat up by Yadong Song. I mean, the guy, to give him credit, he fought some really good competition recently who he lost to. Let's see, who did he lose to? He lost to Mario Batista, then Vinicius Oliveira. So,
and Song Yadong in the row, correct?
And Song Yadong, yeah, 3 in a row. But he looked kind of flat in those, So, Ricky's also from Seattle, so maybe this is kind of be a fire under his butt. But the dude's got 15 fights in the UFC, and I just feel like, I don't know, only at 32 years old, he just kind of seems like he's not on the way out. But I don't know. So maybe we see his old self. But I like the distance management of Basharat. I like the striking. I like his size. And the other thing I like about him too is that the dude is very, very good at getting back up when he's taken down. He does not settle. He stuffs ahead. He gets height. He gets right back up. So I think even if Ricky takes him down, he's gonna work to get back to his feet. Both guys have good cardio. I could see this being a close fight. I do think it goes to a decision, although it's over 2.5 minus 400. But I could see it being like a 29-28 Javid win. So maybe that Ricky point spread plus 3.5. I saw some people posting about that. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's a bad look. I don't think this one finishes. Javid, he's not really a power puncher, and Ricky's tough anyway. I know he was knocked out. Everyone gives him shit for getting knocked out by Uriah Faber, but I think he's a tough dude. So
it's hilarious.
Yeah, I agree with you, Guru. Javid by decision for me.
Nail it on down.
I just played at minus 125.
Where was it?
You can get it at 365. You can get it in FanDuel.
Nice. I'll do that. All right. Sounds good to me. That sounds like 1.25 units to win one. If I've ever seen it, that's probably what we should have done last week with Yusuf Salah by decision.
Correct.
Because, let me just show you guys what we're seeing here on the stats. Their defense is around the same, but we have a 10% accuracy advantage on the Javid Basharat side. He doesn't give up extended control time. He's got really good initial takedown defense. He's faced a ton of takedowns. So we have a lot of stats on it, a lot of sample size. Thank you. You just saved my life.
Of course.
So shout out to Guru. How to save a life. All right. We've got Nikolai, cousin Nico, Veritenikov, very technical Veritenikov, versus Austin, AK-47, Van Zandt, Vanderford.
No, that's retarded. First off, he's the gentleman. That's his nickname.
Yeah, but who's the breadwinner?
Then you call him Mrs. Van Zandt, but you didn't write that. Mr. Van Zandt, but you didn't write that.
Van Zanderford. How about that?
No,
throw them together.
Write it. You decided to do AK-47.
That's his actual nickname on.
It's not.
On Tapology, go to it. On UFC stats.
How much don't look. How much do you want to bet that his nickname is not AK-47 and that
got
he's
rid
the
of it
gentleman?
on UFC stats.
Because his name is the fucking gentleman. It's the gentleman Austin Vanderford.
Well, they changed it. That's the only reason I put AK-47 is because UFC stats did. I swear to God. They took it away.
You're wrong.
That was from his Contender Series fight. No, it's from his Contender Series fight. You're wrong. Go back and watch it. He was
No.
AK-47. Now that he's getting laid by Paige Van Zandt and making money on OnlyFans, that's why he's the gentleman now, because he shows his cock to make money. All right? Something that you wish you could do, but yours doesn't work. I understand. Anyways, we got minus 118 Veretennikov versus minus 102 Vanderford as I broke the guru. Yeah, I appreciate all you guys for enjoying it, but it's just a good time. That's what we come here for. We're actually two guys that watch the fights together every week. If you can't handle it, then get out of here, all right?
Oh
But
my God, you should have seen us after the Suarez loss.
oh my God, it was very sad. I threatened to slap him. I apologize. Words were exchanged, but this is what happens when you're boys, right? So, anyways, cousin Nico, minus 118. The guru just yelled at me through textual messages that we need to lay the last of the plus money on Vanderford. So, guru, why don't you tell them why?
Because it's the last of the plus money, and this is the no, I mean, dude, this is the sketchiest shit with Nikolai Venertenikov. And if somebody can tell me what the fuck happened, feel free to let me know. The dude is scheduled to fight Billy Ray Goff, right? He pulls out of this card. He pulls out. Is it due to injury? Is it a visa issue while he's currently living in California? I don't know. I don't know what the issue is, but he pulls out of this card. They match Billy Ray Goff up with Adam Fugit. Adam Fugit pulls out. They offer Billy Ray Goff Austin Vanderford. He says no because he doesn't. His coaches don't like the stylistic matchup on short notice because they were preparing for first Veretennikov and then Fugit. So don't like it. Fair. So Nikolai Venertenikov comes back into the picture. What happened? Why did he pull out? I don't understand. So if somebody knows, that would be cool. Otherwise, I think he's fucking injured and has now decided to basically suck it up. Maybe they sprinkled some more money in. Maybe he thought this is a better match. I don't know. But give me plus money on somebody who I think has a legitimate skill set in one area, right? His wrestling. He excels specifically somewhere versus somebody in Nikolai who I just think is more, what's the word I'm looking for? He's good at everything, but a master of none. Like he's not really fantastic at anything. So I think if Austin can get it to the ground, I think he's going to be in decent shape. So.
All right. So
was that a crazy breakdown? Was that?
No. I like what you're talking about. But okay. So Glenn Body's telling me to check the comments. Nico had work visa issues, so he had to cancel before. They couldn't guarantee he would make it, so they changed the matchup. But then once Goff wouldn't take him, Nico was like, oh, I can actually do it. Cousin Nico can come to America. But I'm like, where's he been then? I'm so confused because I thought he was King's MMA.
I thought he was in Huntington. Yeah, I thought he was in California. But Neil Dariush was in his corner last fight. Like, where the fuck is he?
Sketchy.
Very sketchy. So the theory, McPix, do you know anything more about this before I throw some tinfoil hat stuff out?
No. I thought it was weird. How they handled it. Very, very weird. I don't know anything about it.
So basically, like Vanderford, he lives around the area. He goes between ATT and Florida, and then like ATT Portland plus Gracie Baja Portland. So he's got family around the area.
Him and Paige do that, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Fair enough. But in this aspect is that he probably knew he was going to have this matchup. He used to fight at 185. Now he's getting a 175. Like maybe the UFC couldn't really come up with a great excuse for why they would book this matchup at that type of catch weight. And we're trying to have something in their back pocket with all these fight cancellations. And I think they knew about this matchup for a little bit longer than they were letting on. So I think Vanderford coming in, I mean, we've seen him wrestle for 5 rounds with Fabian Edwards. He's lost. His 2 losses are both at the exact 1 minute and 25 second mark by straight right hands. So if he can just avoid that 1 minute 25 mark and getting obliterated from distance, I mean, what I have seen is that he's a very high level wrestler and he can do it at a volume. When guys go to scramble, he can float on top, end up back in half guard. And if he can avoid the knockout blow, I mean, he's very limited on the feet, but he's explosive. He's got a jab, he's got an overhand, and he's got a double leg takedown. So had to fly back and apply, and now he's good for another 2 years. All right, fair enough. So I guess we're getting some more info about Nikolai, but that sounds like a lot of stuff to do, right? And Austin, this is where he lives. This is what he's doing. He's going to fight in front of all of his friends and family. UFC typically gives their Bellator signings a soft landing in their first matchup. Veretennikov refused to fight a guy that had a broken hand. We see him slow down the stretch against Michael Morales. Damn it, Guru, you said the right thing. 2 units, Vanderford plus 100. Bet 365. Good job.
Why not?
Why not?
This line actually completely flipped again. I mean, Vanderford is minus 120 on Bet Online. And Veretennikov is plus 100.
Last of the plus money on Bet 365. Run, children, run.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I don't really have a good read on this fight, to be honest. I will say I feel like if this fight goes to decision, it's Vanderford. The dude's 5-0 to the decision, and that probably means he had grappling success. But he doesn't seem like the most durable fighter in the world. I didn't really know him. I knew he fought for Bellator. I knew he was a wrestler, but that's about it. But I watched his knockout losses back. I think he injured his shoulder in the Musasi fight. But the Aaron Jeffrey fight was kind of weird. Like he took one bad shot and he went down and then he kind of just shelled up. So I don't think this guy is the toughest dude in the world, or maybe just he can't recover well. And Veretennikov can crack. Dude's pretty big, and I think he's going to come out a little more aggressive this time around. Against Barlow, he was super tentative, and I think this is kind of do or die time for him. I think he knows, like, if he puts on a stinker again, or if he loses, he's 35 years old, he's probably out. So I think he's going to go for it, and I'm going to end up siding with him. Super low confidence. I think he's going to knock out Vanderford at some point, only because also Vanderford, he's not really that dangerous. Like, if he gets Veretennikov down, I think he's going to survive the round, and then every round starts on the feet, right? So I think Nikolai is going to have some opportunity to knock him out. Nothing confident, but I think he's going to go for it, and he has a lot of knockouts on his record. The dude hits hard, so that's what I'm going with.
That would be his path to victory, to your point. You brought up a lot of good ones. So if you do end up taking that plus money on the Vanderford side, I'd go ahead and take a look at that Nikolai knockout number because it's probably pretty spicy. But yeah, I listen, Bet 365, if you haven't been limited by them, they give you the awesome ability to basically cash out at even odds as long as you haven't been reverse CLV'd, and they're the slowest to move on the market. So, and Glimbot, if you think this goes to decision, we're probably feeling good on the Vanderford side, right? So that's where, hey, listen, if things look wrong at weigh-ins, we change our mind. If you're following us on some of these bets, like, we leave ourselves the ability to make a cash out because we're beating line movement. We're getting ahead of that portion of it. And if the read ends up not making sense, we're willing to come off of it too. Like, you got to be fluid in your process here.
Glimbaugh, why is that weird that you think it goes the distance? I definitely would think that wouldn't it be chalk? I think it's going to be chalk to go the distance.
Might be. I didn't have a line on DraftKings when I did the presentation.
I think another way to play this one would be if you guys have access to it, the Vanderford decision only prop. I mean, no props are out yet, but at least that saves you the dude's 5-0 to the decision. Obviously, he has cardio. He can wrestle really, really well. And I don't think Nikolai's takedown defense is the best. So that saves you. If he does get knocked out, you get your money back. If he wins by decision, you win. So no idea what it's going to be set at. It'd probably be favored, I'm assuming. But maybe not too much.
No,
I can dig it.
All right. We are moving along. We have a couple more
over
matchups.
2.5. Sorry, over 2.5 is minus 130 on Bet 365.
Makes
for
sense
that last
to
fight.
me.
So we might actually be able to touch fight goes the distance at plus money.
Tempted to touch.
Fucking weird. That's so crazy.
All right, we're moving on.
That was not a picture of Ibo Aslan's tits. You were not that tempted to touch.
I was not. All right, weve got Nursultan Black Senior Ruzaboyev. Shout out to his brother Black Junior. Versus Eric.
No shout out to him. He fucking pulled out versus Jared Gordon. Who signs in on short notice and then fucking drops out because they can't make weight?
Flabby.
Yeah,
you're a bitch.
Jeez,
you're a bitch. The whole idea of the contract is to show up. on short notice. That's why they put you in, to show up. So show up.
I can't argue with that portion of it. As much as I'd like to, I really can't argue with it.
I don't
That's
have much in
unfortunate.
this fight, so I mean, I'll just tell you that I played Joaquin Buckley at even money for 5 units, or to win 5 units. So I was very fucking happy with that. Ruzaboyev cannot stuff a takedown. So as long as Eric can go for some and avoid the round 1 bonking, I think this is live. But of course dangerous, because Nursultan is an assassin.
Well, here's what we see on the tape. There's definitely times where Eric is, been rocked. He's been knocked out a couple times, a little bit earlier in his MMA career. He's been training at MMA Lab with Jared Cannonier. He was, in fact, in his corner for the last fight. He's got connections with Chael Sonnen. He performs on Submission Underground Grappling. And Chael talks about how, if you hear me have a bias, said I've done a lot of work with Eric doing different like jiu-jitsu tutorials and making content together, and sorry if I'm biased. So that tells me a lot. He's got, pretty good understanding of the game and good enough technical understanding to actually teach others. MMA Lab, he's out there in the corner for Cannonier, so he's got a great training partner. And then when you watch the tape, Submission Underground, I mean, the guy's a legit grappler. Like, he might not have the best takedowns in the open mat, but he can use the cage well. He's got a good clinch game. He, if you put him in a bad position, he can get out of it. The one match goes to overtime. He loses on escape time. The other match, he gets a nice arm bar in overtime against the outmatched opponent. But in this fight here, Ruzaboyev, we've seen the clear downsides to his game. We've seen the upside of bonking a guy before they get started, like Bruno throws a blind calf kick, gets bonked, right? Ends up on his back, and it's over. He's hurt. Ruzaboyev, he can eye poke the shit out of you if you just stand there and look at him like SD Dumas. It's not impressive. That don't impress me much. Then you see
Fuck Gary Copeland.
Yeah, fuck Gary Copeland. Then you see him have just an absolutely miserable experience with the one Joaquin Buckley. Now, I'm not saying, oh yeah, by the way, Eric, a Professor Meconico, like, Harry Potter vibes. But anyways, like Professor McGonagall, Professor Meconico. He didn't have a nickname, so that's what he gets, all right? Yeah, he's a tiny bit older.
Wait, you gave him that nickname?
I did.
Okay.
All right. Not bad, right? And Ruzaboyev, he's very happy accepting bottom position. He's not going to get a meme armbar or Kimura here. That's just not going to work. Not against a grappler of this level. I think where we're in danger is if Meconico gets hurt from distance, but we see him kind of navigate the power and the experience of Maki Pitolo. And while that guy's not as tall and long as Ruzaboyev, like, Meconico has the reach advantage in this fight. He's got a couple-inch reach advantage. So ultimately, I feel totally comfortable that we got plus 250. It's still plus 230. Go ahead and do it. I think, Meconico, he's coming out here. He was scheduled to fight either the weekend before or this weekend. So he was preparing for a 5-round main event on Tough Enough. This guy's going to be ready. He's coming out, and he's going to win this fight. 2 units.
I'm not quite as confident as you, but
you didn't do the tape on it yet either.
I need to do some more tape. That's true.
I just don't know how, it's dangerous. Ruzaboyev can be scary if he hurts you, but you go watch what Meconico can do on the feet, and you're like, oh shit, what if he hurts Ruzaboyev, right? He's a southpaw. He's got really nice boxing to the body, throws in combination. McPix, what are you thinking here?
I wasn't as impressed with Meconico when I looked into him as you were. He's well-rounded. He does everything well. I don't think he excels anywhere. He's 34 years old, making his UFC debut. The thing with this one is, I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, Ruzaboyev, he doesn't have the best cardio." I don't think his cardio is terrible, to be honest. Against Buckley really pushes the pace, and he did that in the last fight. He was shooting double legs. He was in his face the entire time, and that Buckley loss obviously is aging well. He went on to knock out Wonderboy Thompson, and then he knocked out Kobe Covington. So that's not a bad loss to have on your record. He definitely looked Ruzaboyev definitely looked tired in that, but I mean that was a high paced fight. And the thing is with McConaughey is he's been knocked out twice professionally, I believe earlier on in his career. And the fights that I looked at against guys who weren't really known for their power, he's getting wobbled, so that's a concern for me there. I just think that Ruzaboyev is going to hurt him at some point on the feet. And I just think that McConaughey is going to be uncomfortable with it wherever this fight goes, even if he gets him on the mat. We didn't see it too much yet in the UFC, but Ruzaboyev has like 20-something submissions in his record. Maybe a little padded there, but the dude is dangerous everywhere. He's really big. He's trained out of a good gym. I just see Ruzaboyev hurting McConaughey on the feet at some point, and then finishing him. I don't know, by sub or knockout. I would say knockout. But that's the way I'm leaning. But yeah, it's tough to trust Ruzaboyev at like a 3-1 as a favorite, since he's not good to the decision, and a lot of his success is typically front loaded. But I do think he finishes McConaughey at some point.
More tape to be done for me. I don't like that for me when I come to this show and say that, but more tape to be done for me tomorrow and my full day off.
Here's another factor. So Ruzaboyev fights Buckley at 170.
And Renat,
he's supposed to fight Renat. And then he's taking this. This is a short notice matchup when he was supposed to fight his other opponent. It was also a 2-week notice. They were just trying to fill out this card. Like Ruzaboyev was not necessarily actually like it's short notice for both guys, but McConaughey's been preparing for longer. He was scheduled for the middleweight main event on Valentine's Day, so it actually gives him a little bit extra time to make the weight. He fought at light heavyweight against Jerome Hatch in his last fight before that. Other ones were at middleweight, but I mean, he's a true big boy, whereas Ruzaboyev's been down as low as 170, killing himself to get there. And I mean, the power, it hits different at 185. And that's what Buckley kind of talked about too. And that's where I get scared for, I don't know, did we just talk about like Austin Vanderford too? Like his losses came at 185 against real hitters. Now against a smaller guy in Veretennikov, and same thing with McConaughey, facing a guy in Ruzaboyev that can actually make 170. Maybe he doesn't hit quite as hard as some of these other guys. But I don't know. I'm not in love with Ruzaboyev in general as a prospect. I've always been kind of trying to bet against him. So, I get it. Maybe there's some bias here, but I'm taking the shot, man. Give me the professor. All right, we're moving on. We got our last fight of the night, or the first fight, should I say. And, man, those lines look awfully familiar. We got minus 285 on the Baltic Gladiator, Modestas Bukauskas, and plus 230 on the Lion, Rafael Cerqueira. All right, well, there's a couple things to break down. One, Modestas 4-4 in the UFC in his run here. His finishes come against the cage against Andreas Michailidis after the end of the round. Michailidis kind of leaning on the cage. They open the cage door. He kind of falls out of it. They're like, oh, you're too fucked up to continue. Stop the fight. Pretty bad stoppage. Not a real knockout. That's his one UFC knockout. And then his UFC submission comes against the gassed out corpse of Marcin Prachniow, who also lost by submission in round 3 to Vitor Petrino. What did Vitor Petrino do to Modestas? Well, just go back and look at him getting obliterated in round 2. And I mean, ultimately, okay, great. So we started talking about the Modestas side. The Cerqueira side, he's supposed to fight on Contender Series. He's supposed to face this one guy. That guy gets pulled out. They give him another opponent. That guy gets pulled out. They give him another opponent. Then they're like, wait, Rafael, what if we just skip this whole Contenders dance and you just come meet us in Saudi Arabia to fight the last Ottoman, Ibo Aslan, in front of a bunch of Turkish royalty? How does that sound to you? You don't have to fight on Contenders. USA scored.
I finally got it loading on my iPad. It wouldn't work this entire podcast since it started. Finally working. They just scored again. It's 2-1.
Wow, I'm very proud.
2-1 who?
USA, baby.
Wow.
Let's go.
So I'm hoping that in this matchup here, Modestas Bukauskas, I mean, one thing that we haven't really seen from him is finishing people that haven't been finished before. And I know Cerqueira has been finished, but if you watch that fight, like, when have you ever seen Modestas come forward and throw a 26-punch combination against the cage? Like, I haven't even seen him land 26 punches in a fight consistently. In fact, in every single matchup that Modestas Bukauskas has been in, he's been outstruck from distance in the UFC. So just to put that out there, like, I don't think we're getting anything special on the Bukowski side. Cicada side, okay, we talked about the circumstances. He ends up in the desert, okay? Short notice, flying across the country to make his debut against a guy that they're chanting, Ebo, Ebo. And Cicada, one of his things on the regional tape is that we see him willing to cover up along the fence, let a guy throw the 3 or 4 punch combo, and then he returns with a counter shot. Ebo never stopped throwing punches to allow any of that to happen. And I get it. It's terrible optics. Cicada shit the bed. He lost us our plus money bet on that night. You know, we thought that something cool could happen. It didn't, right? We didn't get to see the wrestling. We didn't see the grappling. We didn't even get to see the good range striking. Now, he lands 1 strike. But what do see in that matchup? He's switching stances. He's trying to skirt around the outside. He's trying to land kicks at multiple levels. Does he do it really successfully in the Ebo fight? No, but we talked about those circumstances. But here, Modestas, he's going to push the pressure. He's going to be dangerous for a finish here. I just don't anticipate that. So we're at minus 285. The over 1.5 is at minus 135. I think we're going to see, like, if Cicada's not getting a finish, I think we see the fight go over. And if that's the case, you know, I think Cicada could actually be the more technical striker. He throws kicks to the body. He's got some nice spinning attacks that you see on the highlight reeler against that one fighter that you find his regional tape on. Like, he's got some fluidity to his movement and his overall striking game. And on paper, he trains with Jaltin Maladino. He trains with, the heavyweight strikers, Jonata Deniz. These guys are all at the same camp. So, yeah, it's a little bit sketchy how it plays out in his first fight. But at the same time, Modestas, yeah, okay, he goes and cross-trains with the Aspinall camp and gets in some good work there, but he hasn't been there for over 3 weeks. Where does he actually train? I don't know. I can't find it. And then why is he not on the UFC London card? They're going there in a few weeks. Why is Modestas not fighting in London? He's the Baltic Gladiator or whatever. Why is he not in Europe for his fight? I don't think they give a shit. I think, like, they already got rid of him once. They felt really bad that his knee got mutilated, and they brought him back after a couple Cage Warriors fraudulent wins. And here we are again. And you know what, Rafael, are you going to show us anything this time? Do you have a pulse? I think you're going to at least get a chance to make it past.
I mean, listen, can you be fair, though? You're kind of being a little shit to the guy. In his UFC return, he's won 3 of his last 4 fights.
Okay, against?
Oh, come on, man.
I get it.
They're terrible. The bottom of the barrel. Tyson Pedro when he's ready to retire.
Yeah.
Zach Pauga,
and he doesn't knock him out. He doesn't knock out Zach Pauga, mind you. And also, he loses that fight. Go and watch it back.
Yeah, you're right. No, I was pissed. I was so. Don't tell me to watch it back.
So what's your argument here?
I bet Pauga and bet him live.
So what's your argument
and I lost doubly.
You're not giving me a good one. What's the last fight you're about to tell me that he won? Marcin Prachniow, the other guy,
master.
And who else? Who else? That was it, right?
He lost to Vitor Petrino.
Am I supposed to be impressed?
Getting knocked out by a guy that's a grappler. No, fine, I get it. All right, you're right. We took a 250 shot on this guy.
270.
270. All right, we got plus 270.
We got plus 270. And so if we want to, we can cash out one of those units for a profit right now.
Fair enough, but I mean, I like him north of 2-1. It sounds like, and I'm gonna do again some more tape. But again, I do agree with you. I do think Modestas Bukauskas leaves a lot to be desired. His UFC run, he's scraping the bottom of the barrel. He is right there on the bottom of the barrel. And what I tend to think of with guys that have as bad of a debut as Rafael Cicada, we can make the joke, which we often do. Oh, can't get worse than that. Yeah. Exactly. It can't get worse than that. Public perception of him is at an all-time low right now. And Ebo Aslan, who we just put 4 units on this card, is a fucking savage, will throw crazy in combination. Modestas, I think, is more of a rangy distance striker, take his time, more low volume kind of guy. After a couple strikes, he might even earn some respect. So, yeah, we'll take a dog shot. Why not? I like the over 1.5 too. Maybe I'm crazy for that. Isn't this guy's all his finishes round 1? Yeah, everything. 6 round 1 finishes, 6 round 1 knockouts, 2 in round 2, and 2 round 1 subs. Yeah, he's got 1 decision, Cicada.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all right with it. I can live with it. You know.
Unfortunately, for the last time tonight, man, it's always good to chat with you.
we'll have you back again soon. McPix, what do you think tonight, man?
Yeah.
On this one.
You guys are convincing me on the Cerquera side.
Uh-oh.
I don't have a bet on the. I always thought it was gonna be dog or pass on the money line. You can't trust Modestus at minus 300. That's just not a good idea. But what's funny about Cerquera is like we all had questions about him before his UFC debut, and we still have those same questions. But one thing I don't like about Cerquera is, he does a lot of that. Doesn't seem like he's too aggressive or high volume, even though he has a lot of knockouts on the feet. He kind of waits, throws like a lot of spinning shit, which, spinning back elbows and spinning back kicks, which will work against really low level competition on the regional scene, but you can't rely on that shit on the UFC level. But yeah, Modestus doesn't do anything great. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of power. He's not the most durable fighter. He can definitely be. You could lose by knockout. You could lose by decision. He could be taken down. So the upside definitely is on Cerquera's side. It's just a risky pick because you don't know, right? But he's also he's not minus 200. He's plus 230.
Yeah.
So but I do like the over 1.5. I have a bet on the over 1.5.
Nice.
I think Cerquera is.
I think I like that a lot.
He's super I think he's durable. You know what? What in my notes actually going back, I wrote that Cerquera before the Aslan fight. I wrote that I wrote that I think he's durable, but I didn't like how when he backs up, he just backs up straight. He doesn't move laterally at all, and he just shells up. And that's what he did. He had his butt against the octagon, and then Aslan hit him with that 25 piece combo. And he didn't even get knocked out. He just wasn't defending himself intelligently. Like he wasn't put out. Like he was after that. He was walking around and everything. So I think the guy's durable. But I don't think that Modestus can replicate that, that combination.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Cerquera has upside here. I don't have a bet on it, but I do think it goes over. Modestus typically is not aggressive. And I think he's fairly durable. I mean, he got caught a couple times by some heavy hitters. But I don't think both these guys, I don't think they're going to push any that high of a pace. And I'm sure Cerquera is going to want to last longer than his original fight. So he's probably going to be like, all right, I gotta move around a little bit. I gotta dip my toes in first this time. So yeah, dog or pass or money line, but I do like the over here.
Nice. I was kind of thinking I should probably have some over as well. So I really like that idea. Great thoughts. And yeah, man, I love that it's all coming together here. And believe it or not, got dog shots on each of the first 3 fights of the night. And I know Guru doesn't necessarily like that, but I've only got 2 more the rest of the night. It's going to be Andre Fili, Rob Font, and the first 3 fights is what it comes down to. I'm not going Brendan Allen. I'm not going Henry Cejudo. 5 probably don't hit, but I think we're getting 3 or 4. And if I could do that, I'm having a profitable night. We got a nice parlay. For the people, you can get minus 140 still, but, we'll have some props out there too. So it's not quite the spaghetti approach. I really do have good analysis for why I think each of these dogs can win. We're getting a fight in front of the crowd. Should be exciting. And, man, can't wait to enjoy these fights on Saturday night. So thanks so much to everybody in the chat joining us, rocking out, Glimbot, Daz, all the peeps. You guys are so much appreciated, and it means a lot to be able to come out here and have a great time with this community every single week. So before we pass it off to the Guru to do the proper departure from the show tonight, McPix, what do you got to say to the people, man? Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, man, always a pleasure. Thank you for having me on. My second time being on the show, and I think that we talked through some good things. I think we got a lot of clarity in our reasoning, and we got some good bets here. But yeah, all good. I'm looking forward to the fights. I think the card got a little bit of too much criticism. I think it's a great card. And like you said, always happy when the fights are in front of fans. So I don't think the UFC has been in Seattle for, it's been at least a few years.
Over 10 years.
Oh, there you go. Over 10 years. So yeah, awesome. I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Really, man, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being on. Dude, when do you cook up those parlays? Is that a fight day thing? Are you working on it now? Like what is that? What does the lab look like for that?
The process is, throughout the week, typically I'll have I break down each fight. I write my own notes, and then I'll write, how I think the fight's going to end. And then I basically just kind of piecemeal the ones that I feel most confident in, like not most confident, but you get the most value, whatever. Like one of them is probably going to be that Menifield fight to go the distance, or even the Bukowskis fight to go the distance. You know what I mean? and I'll just piece those together, the ones that I just feel confident in. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. The one I posted last week, I know you said you followed that. We were looking good. We were looking really good.
I was on it. I was on each leg personally myself, so I was like, "Fuck yeah, why not?"
Yeah, I mean, and then that over 2.5. I actually had Bonfim money line too, so that was like a double shot to the foot for me, because I actually had Bonfim at minus 135, and the line like fucking moved to like minus 250 or something like that. He was looking good. A little controversy around the stoppage, but he was hurt. I mean, credit to Sadikov for that one. But
I
we
went
were
head
close
to head
last
with
week.
TB on that one.
Yeah,
I was
mean,
with you.
Yeah, we were close last week. I hit a big one probably about 2 months ago. I hit like 200 to win like 20K or something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, I had a really big one that I posted online too. A lot of people tailed it. A lot of people messaged me. They won a lot of money, so it's awesome. I love it. I'll post one for free for sure on Saturday morning when most of the props are out and everything's out. And yeah, hopefully you get another one.
Love it. Love it, man. Seriously, thanks so much for coming on. Really, really appreciate your time. Sharp dude. Love those parlays. I look for them each week. Guys, seriously, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you're following my unbelievable co-host, TB Scouting MMA, over on Twitter, Instagram, Pickett, Verdict, Tapology, and Bet MMA. And you can follow me, the Guru Scouting MMA, over on Twitter, Pickett, Verdict, Instagram, Tapology, and Bet MMA. And hey, I'm actually still doing my verdict. Got a gold medal last week for anybody that cares. So go follow. Yeah, seriously, we're still fucking rolling. We're in the midst of a streak. Next week we go back to the Apex, which you know that I just love. Back to the Apex with Manel Kopp and Asu Almabayev. Should be an interesting card. And then we go to UFC 313, Pereira Ankalaev. That's in Vegas, right? Yeah, that's in Vegas. Cool enough, though. Should be a great card.
A lot to look forward to. A lot of fire fight announcements, man.
Those were unbelievable. Let's talk about that a second, honestly. Those fight announcements were just incredible. What was the one that made you the most excited, McPix?
I'm actually excited to see. I'm a big Volk fan. He's my boy. I'm excited to see him take on Diego Lopez.
I think Diego fucks him up. That's fucked up. Unless I just think the chin is probably gone.
Right. I tweeted out. I was surprised it wasn't Evloev. I thought that would be much more of a favorable matchup for Volk, because Volk is like, obviously cardio king and his grappling is really good. So I would have liked to seen that one, but
they really want to build just like they want to build the China bracket. So they give Song Yadong and they give Anthony Smith Zhang. What they do here is exactly that. They're giving a marketing fan base in Mexico that they want to grow. And what you just said is exactly it. You let Lopez beat Volk, and then you're guaranteed finally an Evloev fight has some fucking juice. It's a rematch for the title.
Right. Yeah. No, I could see that. Yeah, some really, really good matchups. So I think Fierro beats Valentina. That's a close line fight. I think it's her time. What else did we get announced? There were some really, really good ones.
I'm most excited for the one you didn't mention, Chandler and Patty.
Oh yeah.
That's just a banger.
Patty's getting Chandler at a good time.
Yep. He's gonna win.
Wow,
yeah.
Crazy. And you're the biggest Patty hater. It's so funny. Who the fuck is his manager? He's incredible.
Well, it's all about if the UFC thinks that you're an exciting prospect with a good personality, and they're going to go out of their way to give you soft landings. And if you could promote yourself without them having to pay extra, it only adds up. So Patty had a following already from Cage Warriors in his time there. He came in with some hype. He's like not a great fighter to start, but like every time you see him come out, his athleticism gets a little better, his technical striking gets a little better, and his grappling's as dangerous as ever. So, and Scalzas don't get knocked out. So, he should be all right. I think he's going to beat Chandler because Chandler cannot fight to a game plan, and he has no real durability or ability to do things for a consistent period to win a decision. It's just not happening these days.
And Bilal minus 200 makes me sad. I was hoping for some plus money, but he should really be minus 400, so it's fine.
Yeah, and
I
maybe
agree
we
with
get some
that.
line movement to help us out to play that sub 200. I'll do it.
And I guess the last fight is Leon Edwards and Sean Brady, which I would love to get Sean Brady at some plus money.
I'll
as
take
well.
Sean Brady.
Yeah.
Seriously, awesome. Little bonus content too. Love that. Thank you so much, McPix. Really, really appreciate you. Really appreciate everybody in the chat. Share it, like it, subscribe, send it around, tell people to listen. See you guys.